Okay, hi guys. I decided I was going to try and do a screencast recording today because I wanted to show you some of the things that I learned, and I haven't done this before, so we'll see how it goes. But I decided to specifically do some research on support for poverty, essentially. So food stamps and a really cool program that's located in actually all around the U.S., but I specifically researched the Utah Women, Infants, and Children WIC program. So first let's look at food stamps, which is the page that you can see up right now. One thing that I was really impressed by with this site is that there's a ton of different information and different topics that they have. I went through and I read all of the different topics, but they talk about what are some ways that you can earn a living from home? It does talk about exercising and dieting while on food stamps because and they acknowledge that healthy food tends to be more expensive than frozen burritos. So they talk about different diets that you can go on. They have suggested meal plans, and they have suggested exercise programs, which is really cool. They also talk about a program called D-SNAP, which is a nutrition support system specifically for disasters, which is what the D stands for. And that is for families who, not even families that only qualify for the regular services. Some other families also can apply, but it's essentially for disaster situations and making sure that they provide food. So I'd be curious to look into that. I'm not sure how much it's related to a 72-hour kit. My understanding of it so far is that basically they have your name and records and they know to bring you food in case of a disaster. So kind of a really cool situation, and cool that they have that preparedness program, since it's difficult when living on food stamps, I imagine, to actually accumulate a legitimate food storage. One thing that I thought was really sweet was they talk about how to feed pets on a budget, and they do suggest if you can, it's important to try and give those pets up for adoption, but some families aren't ready to do that, and that's okay. And here's some things that you can do to supplement your pet's food. Here's some brands that you can shop. Here's some ways that you can shop in order to stretch your budget further. And they also provide a Lifeline phone, which I thought was cool, and specifically in this one, I'll click on it, it talks about technology being a useful and necessary part of life in the modern world, and I thought that was a really cool new addition to their program. Rather than just providing food, they also can provide a cell phone, sometimes a smartphone, sometimes a dumb phone, I'm not sure what you would call it, but just a phone to a family household. So they do have ways of contacting people and making it to job interviews and different things like that. And so I thought that was a really cool provision. And I also specifically wanted to check out Utah's food stamps, and they have a really good program. It talks about the different things that you need to do to apply. Specifically, you have to be 135% under the state poverty line, and they have specific income lines for that. And then I also wanted to check out WIC, which is the Women, Infants, and Children program in Utah County. A dear friend of mine got married about a year ago, and they got pregnant really fast and weren't financially prepared to handle bringing a third member into their family. And she wasn't sure what to do, but found out about this program, which provides food for pregnant women to help support them through their pregnancy, even if they miscarry, which I think was fantastic. They also provide support and food for breastfeeding women, and for children, formula up to age 1 and food up to age 5. Obviously, there's a certain poverty line you need to meet. I believe it's 185% under the poverty line. And they do have some restrictions. They can only offer certain brands of formulas due to costs and trying to help the most number of people. But they really are a fantastic program. Some of the things they specifically provide for women, you can see are really protein-rich and iron-rich foods, especially for breastfeeding moms. Carrots and tuna, eggs, cheese, peanut butter. They also do accommodate to allergies or all of those different things. I'm out of time, but I thought this was a really cool program, and specifically with reference to education, there's a lot on the food stamps about how parents can apply to support their children in school, and by applying to that program, if they're accepted, students get a free breakfast and lunch every day in addition to support for dinner. And it's really hard for students to focus in school anyway sometimes, but trying to focus on an empty stomach, that's even harder. And so I think that that's something that as teachers we can be aware of and recommend those programs to the parents of children that might need it. Also for women, infants, and children, as they have programs outside of Utah as well if you teach out of Utah. I'm teaching in high school, and teen pregnancy is a thing, and sometimes parents can help and sometimes parents can't. And so this is a program that can, I think, really help students who might be going through that particular issue and can provide support for them and their child. And I thought that was really awesome, so I'm excited about these resources. Sorry for the long video.